Very good morning, dear students. In the previous session, we studied about theory of consumer behavior, introduction, then two approaches. One is cardinal approach and another one is ordinal approach. So in today's session, let us try to understand the first very important approach, cardinal approach, that is also known as utility approach, developed by neoclassical economist Alfred Marshall. So we already know the meaning of utility, features of utility, forms of utility. In this session, we try to know other interesting concepts of utility. They are total utility, marginal utility, and average utility. Let us start the session with drawing the two curves. They are total utility curve and marginal utility curve. See here. This is marginal utility curve and this is total utility curve. So these two are explained with the help of numerical examples and the relation between total utility and marginal utility curve. Yes, we will start the session. So we already know the meaning of utility, features of utility and forms of utility. So what is utility? Once again we will repeat and continue. It refers to the want satisfying power of a commodity. It is the satisfaction actually which we'll get from the consumption of the commodity which we considered. And we all know that the concept of utility is very interesting. Utility does not mean satisfaction, utility does not mean usefulness, utility has no moral consideration, and it is subjective and not objective. So it differs from person to person, place to place, and time to time. So this is the very interesting concept. The question arises, how the utility is measured? So we already know about the two approaches. One is cardinal approach and another one is ordinal approach. And utility approach, that is expressed in terms of cardinal analysis. That means numbers are used here, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So can be added, divided, multiplied and subtracted. And the term utility expressed in terms of utils. So what do you mean by utils? Utils are imaginary and psychological units which are used to measure the satisfaction which we'll get from the consumption of that particular commodity. So once again I will repeat, what are utils? Utils are imaginary and psychological units which are used to measure the satisfaction which we'll get from the consumption of that particular commodity. The two concepts are given here. One is total utility and another one is marginal utility. What do you mean by total utility and what do you mean by marginal utility? Total utility means the utility which we'll get from the consumption of all possible units. So how the total utility is calculated? So it is calculated in terms of utility derived from first unit plus the second unit plus third unit plus fourth unit plus fifth unit plus sixth unit like this. Or we can also calculate a total utility that is equal to summation of EMU. When we'll add the marginal utility, then definitely we will get total utility. Then what do you mean by marginal utility? Marginal utility is nothing but the utility which we'll get from the additional unit which we consumed. So it is called as also additional utility. How it is calculated? It is calculated, that is minus tu n minus tu n minus 1. So like this we also calculate marginal utility. And one more example or formula is given how to calculate marginal utility. So change in total utility, that is divided by change in Q. So we'll try to understand these all with the help of numerical examples, very interesting examples we will try. Yes, see here, the first column units will write, second total, mu, units will take 6. So if total utility is given, how to calculate marginal utility? From first 12 we'll get, then 20, then 26, 30, then 30, and then 28. How to calculate marginal utility? Change in total utility divided by change in Q. So the first remains the same. What is the change here? 8. What is the change here? 1 divided by 1, that is equal to 8. So the second one, 6 divided by 1. So it is 4, the difference here, and 0, then minus 2. So in this way we will calculate total utility. Let us try to calculate marginal utility. We will take the same example. So how to calculate total utility? Summation of m u. Okay, so first remains the same, 20 plus 6, 26 plus 4, 30. So plus 0, 30, then minus 2, 28. So in this way total utility is calculated. So we will solve one more example. Units are 6. Tu and mu. First we will calculate mu. So how to calculate marginal utility? Change in Tu divided by change in Q. The first remains the same. So what is the change here? 6 divided by 1, 6. So what is the change here? 4 by 1 is equal to 4. Then here 2, 0, then minus 2. So what is this? mu. So we'll try one more example. Units, Tu, mu. 6 will take TU, 20 from first, 35 second, 45 third, then 50, then 50, then 45. How to calculate marginal utility? Change in TU by change in Q. It remains the same. What is the change here? 15 by 1, 15. Then 10 by 1, 10. Then 5. No difference, 0. And this is minus 5. What is this? Total utility divided by, that is Q. Change in total utility, that is by change in Q. MU is calculated. Then how DU is calculated? We'll write MU. So this is MU. We have to calculate TU. How to calculate TU? Summation of MU. So the first remains the same and the second one, so plus 35 plus 10, 45 plus 5, 50 plus 0, 50, and this is minus 5, 45. So in this way total utility is calculated. Now we'll try to understand the relationship between TU and MU. So I'll take the first example to explain. Units, TU and MU. $12, $20, $26, $30, then $30, then $28, 12, 8, 6, 4, 0, minus 2. Let us try to understand the relation between TU and MU. See here, the first one. When TU is maximum, MU is 0. When TU is maximum, MU is 0. The second one, when TU falls, MU becomes negative. MU becomes negative. Third one, when TU reaches maximum level, after that it starts falling. So this is the maximum of TU. After that it starts falling. So these are three very interesting relationships between total utility and marginal utility. Dear friends,